To Ohio now, where authorities say a man intentionally struck and killed a sheriff's deputy the day.
It's your boy Big Cal, man, with these live reactions, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to TNP, True Masculinity Podcast, man. We're coming live from the Colorado Rockies. I in Colorado Springs. Enjoying this beautiful, beautiful weather out here, man. It's good and crispy. You know what I'm saying? Nice and chill. Hit that like button, sit back. Let's talk this shit. You understand? And it is. Let's get some straightening. Let's talk about this situation that's transpiring across America. Let's get some understanding. Tap in with your boy Big Cal, man. What's up with it? Hit that like button. Subscribe to TNP. Let me sit up real fast. Sit up on this beautiful day, man. Subscribe to TNP for me real fast. If you're out there, man, we gotta talk this shit. Gotta keep it real in this situation, man. It's definitely a lot of race baiting going on right now in America, for sure. So much race baiting going on right now in America. It is ridiculous, man. Let's see, we're all gonna tap in with TNP, get this good old word.
And killed the sheriff's deputy the day after the suspect's teenage son was fatally shot by police. In his first court appearance this weekend, Rodney Hinton Jr. walked through a room packed with law enforcement officers. CBS's Lisa Rosner is tracking the latest developments for us tonight. Lisa.
Jerika, the deputy killed has not been identified, but fellow law enforcement describe him as a fantastic officer and person. Law enforcement is grieving one of their own. The sheriff's deputy was directing traffic at a local university graduation Friday when he was struck.
The officer was just out doing his job, directing traffic up near the University of Cincinnati.
The alleged driver is 38-year-old Rodney Hinton. He is the father of a teen fatally shot by Cincinnati police on Thursday. That teen was 18-year-old Ryan Hinton. Police say he was armed and running away from a stolen vehicle when another officer opened fire. Police body cam footage of the shooting was...
I already said enough, but a lot of us have a victim mentality in the black community. I want to keep reiterating that we live and we thrive by a victim mentality in the black community. We circle the wagon on that shit. And people like me who call it the task and call us out on that character flaw or issue or whatever you want to call it, trauma response, cop out, crutch, what do you want to call it? They call us coons, sellouts, all the above, but I got to do it, man. I'm a real man. I'm an honest man of God. I got to call out like inequalities and in both ways. Like I got to go on the side with righteousness. You understand?
Shared with the teen's family the same day the deputy was struck. Prosecutors allege this was no accident.
There are no evidence of skid marks. There are no evidence that he tried to avoid him.
More than 30 members of the sheriff's department filled the courtroom for Hinton's arraignment. His attorney addressed the crowd.
I understand that there is a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in this room right now, but in the community at large.
We have a deputy that's killed simply doing his job. It's a shame. It's tragic.
Rodney Hinton has been charged with aggravated murder and was denied bond. Jerika?
Lisa Rosner with those details. Thank you.
Yeah, man, that was some bullshit, dog. I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. That was some bullshit. Funeral procession details announced for. I'm watch a couple more videos, see what the hell been going on. What the hell? What the hell, Yante, man? Hit that like button.
Your Honor, Rodney Hinton. Thank you.
It was tense as Rodney Hinton's family sat in a sea of law enforcement officers who showed up for his bond hearing. As Hinton approached the podium, his brother comes up on the other side, tapping the glass to get his attention. The man refuses to listen. An officer tugs on his shirt to get him to sit down, resulting in chaos inside the gallery and spilling outside into the hall. Deputies escorted Hinton out for 2 minutes. Once things settled down, he returned to face the judge.
Good morning, Mr. Hinton.
The prosecution called its witness, a Cincinnati police detective who laid out the tragic turn of events on.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't gonna lie, dog. It's real disheartening to see black folks overwhelmingly celebrating the death of this officer who had nothing to do with this shooting, for one. Other than being a part of the system, as far as whatever you want to call it. That is that he's in the system of law enforcement, which is whatever. That's the only affiliation he has. He's even in a different sector. He's a sheriff, and this guy was a police officer in Cincinnati. So, man, it's just sad to see a lot of people that look like me out here celebrating the fact that this officer lost his life randomly because this guy had displaced energy on the situation that happened with his own son. Like, it's just not surprising that your son will be in a stolen vehicle with firearms on him, running around doing idiotic shit out there in Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? Like, and doing shit like, man, I'm telling you, a lot of niggas just bitch made, man. Just be 100% honest. A lot of people just bitch made, dog. They got so many fucking excuses their whole goddamn lives as to why shit ain't going right for them, man. Like, straight up. Like, what kind of man murders another man, hits him with a car, vehicular homicide, because of a situation that the man didn't even have nothing to do with that. Like, okay, we see if you went and actually tracked down the actual officer that hurt your son, if you had that much animosity, but the fact that you just randomly hurt a guy that had nothing to do with the situation that happened to your son, it's really just some low life, low down shit, be honest, man. He's just a punk coward. And it's just wrong in so many ways. Like, you just displace your anger on your son's situation onto this man that had absolutely nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just wild, dude.
Sir Carl Beebe says Hinton and his family met Chief Teresa Thigi at 9:30 Friday morning to review body camera footage of his son, Ryan Hinton's shooting death at the hands of one of her officers the day before. By 10:30, Hinton abruptly left the meeting distraught and so upset family members were concerned about his ability to drive.
When he left, he actually left with family members.
Beebe says Hinton returns at 12:40 that afternoon to pick up his car and leaves. At 12:49, he returns to 801 Lynn Street and circles the parking lot before allegedly heading toward UC. Roughly 10 minutes later, Hinton ran over Deputy Larry Henderson, who was directing traffic for UC's graduation. Detectives say based on video footage and witness accounts, it appeared intentional.
Were there any evidence of skid marks?
No, there were no indications at any point that he tried to brake, stop, or otherwise avoid Deputy Henderson.
The prosecution believes
Dude even got a weird kind of smirk on his face and shit, man. Hit that like button. TNP, hit that like button. We got to have this conversation, man. We got to figure this thing out, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to talk about difficult things. TNP. Shit, subscribe to the channel. True Masculinity Podcast. Subscribe to the channel. Because there's a psychology behind all this celebration of white death coming from the black community. You know what I'm saying? Celebration of death, period, should not be normalized. You understand? You know, I can understand if somebody was just a heinous, evil person. You know what I'm saying? And even then, you know, what do you get out of celebrating the celebration of death? So the black community, man, I understand, like, I get it. Because everybody's a hurt, traumatized bunch from the black community, man. And reasonably so in a lot of areas, but playing victim isn't it. You understand? Playing victim, having a victim mentality, it's not it. It's not what it is, man. It's not what's going to gain you progress in life. It's not what's going to fulfill you. It's not what's going to sustain you. It's not going to have you living your best life. It's living a hurt life thinking somebody's always out to get you. It's thinking this white boogeyman is out to get you. It's not good for your life. Tell them.
Hinton attacked Deputy Henderson because he was the first officer Hinton saw. His defense attorney, Clyde Bennett, argued he was not in the right state of mind.
I'm not saying that my client didn't try to intend to do this. That's not my position. I want to make certain that this young man is treated as a mentally ill person and not as a cop killer. I don't think he was a cop killer. I think he was not in his right mind.
The prosecution argued Hinton is a risk to law enforcement and the public. The judge agreed, saying he never seen a case like this, denying Hinton bond.
Hey there, thanks so much for visiting the Local 12 YouTube channel. Click the link.
This is WLWT News 5, leading the way.
A community getting ready to say a final goodbye to a fallen hero. Good evening and thanks for joining us here at 7. I'm Chris Jacobs.
And I'm Ashley Kirkland. Hamilton County Sheriff's Deputy Larry Henderson will be laid to rest Friday. And now we're learning more about the procession that will take place for the deputy to his final resting place.
And Deputy Henderson was killed.
He's gonna go on your right.
This is the body camera footage from the officer who actually shot Ryan Hinton.
This is the other officer, the one who fires the shot. This is his body camera as he approaches the scene. This is the firearm that was recovered at the scene after the individual was shot. This is what he had in his hand while the officers were chasing him. It's just a photo of it here at Criminalistics. Remember I told you he fell on the concrete and the officer said that they heard the metal hit the ground? There are 3 spots on here where this gun has scratches on it. We believe those occurred when he hit the ground with the firearm. This is a second, sorry Bobby, can you go back 1 frame please? This magazine was in the firearm. That's an extended magazine, so it holds more rounds. Go ahead. This is a second magazine that was located in his sweatshirt pocket, his jacket pocket. And that is the magazine from that second magazine. This is another firearm that was located inside the stolen vehicle.
Yeah, man, riding around a stolen vehicle does not mean you deserve to have your life taken. Started off by saying that riding around a stolen vehicle does not mean you deserve death, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe you deserve to die because you committed a crime. You know, something like, it's not petty, but it's, you know, it's getting up there. You're stealing folks' vehicles, riding around dirty with a gun on you. It's high risk stuff. You understand? Sometimes you got to take, you know, not even sometimes, you have to take accountability for your actions in this world, man. Nobody can put a gun to your head and make you into a crash out, dog. You know what I'm saying? You got to choose this life.
This is a firearm that was also stolen out of northern Kentucky sometime yesterday, early yesterday morning. Approximately, we believe, based on timelines, this was stolen from a vehicle in northern Kentucky, and then they went on to steal the vehicle that's involved in the incident.
I want to tell you about a free app that I've tried. It's called Upside. It gives you cash value screen.
On Friday morning, we met with the police chief of Cincinnati, and we viewed the body cam video of what happened with the police-involved shooting with Ryan. We stayed at the chief's office for about an hour and a half, and what we saw was disturbing. The family was upset, as you can imagine, watching your son, watching your grandson, watching your loved one getting shot and killed by the police was upsetting to this family. We left out of the police chief's office, and a few hours later, I was made aware that Rodney had an incident with a police officer that resulted in the officer's death. But again, We are here because we represent the...
People always want to pull the race card too, man. How about good versus evil, man? Right versus wrong. People always want to pull the race card as an excuse, man. That's their trump card. They pull out to try to back people back, call people racist. Man, come on, man. This kid was not a choir boy, man. He's out here committing felonies. 18 years old, riding around dirty with guns on them and stolen vehicles. Where was this boy raised and trained at to be a man? What qualities? Who's instilling qualities and positive things into this young man? Character, morals. It's gonna be more shit coming after this story, man. They said he was locked out of his house the night before. What's up with that? His family not even fuck with him. Why was he locked out of the fucking house? Black people, man, we gotta talk about this type of trauma and shit that we instill on each other, man. Gotta keep it 100, man. We gotta stop lying to each other, lying, being intellectually dishonest, not withholding the truth and the reality of things that could probably help us progress. Man, we gotta stop the bull, man. Stop the cap. Black folks, we gotta stop the cap, man. Like I said, I'm not gonna say this kid deserved what he got, but I will say this. Be accountable for your actions. Be accountable for your actions, man. Nobody made you ride around illegally in a stolen vehicle. Nobody made you ride around with stolen guns. Nobody made you ride around in a stolen vehicle with fucking guns, loaded with guns. Nobody made you run out of the vehicle with the gun in your motherfucking hand, looking like an immediate threat to an officer. If you know you living in a world in which people do not value the life of your young black ass, why the fuck would you give these people any type of random opportunity to even pull the gun out in your life? Who was teaching this young man how to be a man? That's all I want to know. Because if it was your father, obviously this crash out. Both of y'all crash out. Your father and you will crash out. Your father literally crashed his vehicular manslaughter, killed the officer because he couldn't control his emotions after his son was gunned down being a fucking idiot. Your son was involved with an officer involved shooting because he's an idiot. That's why. I'm not saying whether the shooting was righteous or not. They already deemed it righteous through the eyes of the European law and Western society. They've already deemed it to be a lawful kill. I'm saying if you already feel like systemically the United States is racist, especially against black and brown people, and they already don't give a fuck about you and you're disenfranchised and they treat you like shit, why would you go around committing crimes, felonious crimes with a firearm on you, running out of vehicles with a firearm, loaded gun in your fucking pocket with extended clips and shit? Why would you live this type of lifestyle? If you already feel like people are racist and treating you badly, why would you ride around in a stolen fucking vehicle with guns? Why wouldn't you be trying to do something that betters your life? That's not bettering your life, sitting around in a stolen vehicle with a gun, committing crimes. What's accountability for your life and your actions and the things in which you do? Why you always want to point racism as a scapegoat to bad character issues and poor choices? The black community got to heal, man. That's all I'm gonna say. The black community has some serious conversations that need to be had, and we have to fucking heal, man. Hit that like button for me, TNP. We have to fucking heal. We have to stop pointing the finger at other communities and using them as scapegoats for our bad actions and our bad behaviors and our bad choices. We got to stop doing that. I'm telling you, it's not building us. It's actually crippling us by trying to use scapegoats and trying to use excuses for bad behavior and bad choices amongst our community, amongst our race. So I already know this ain't going to be popular. I know what I got to say. I know it's going to hurt some feelings. I know it's going to step on some toes and neededly so, needingly so, and it has to be done. And I'm cool with being the one that does it, to be honest with you. I'm 110% cool being the one who does it, who steps up and calls things out. It's actually fun for me. I actually like to be different. I like to be the one that goes against the grain. I like to be the one that give degenerate folks flack and cause that cognitive dissonance to bother you. I love it. I love to be that one, that thorn in your side, that controversial thorn in your side that makes you think, makes you look at that silver lining a little bit more thoroughly.
State and the police involved shooting.
Rodney Hinton left the meeting with the police chief, and sometime after that is when police say he intentionally drove his vehicle into Deputy Larry Henderson. A probable cause affidavit states a Hamilton County Sheriff's Office deputy was standing on the sidewalk at the corner of the intersection outside of the lanes of travel where he was engaged in traffic control. The deputy was wearing a uniform and a fluorescent traffic vest. Based on witness statements and evidence at the scene, across oncoming lanes of traffic through the intersection and directly at the deputy, who was struck by the vehicle, causing injuries to the deputy. That intersection near the University of Cincinnati's campus has flowers and blue ribbons decorated in memory and in honor of Larry Henderson, a man who was simply working a detail directing traffic for the University of Cincinnati's graduation. He worked at a different agency, the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, than the police officer who shot Ryan Hinton. Larry Henderson had absolutely nothing to do with what happened to Ryan Hinton. On Monday, Ryan Hinton's family stood with their lawyers, distancing themselves from what Ryan's father is accused of doing, intentionally murdering Deputy Henderson.
We're here because we represent the here to talk about the incident that occurred with the police officer. We call for our condolences to the officer and his family. But we were hired to represent this family to investigate the police-involved shooting of their son, Ryan. This family is very upset about what occurred. We believe that this incident should be investigated. It's not as cut and dry as this officer should have just pulled out his gun and shot at Ryan. It's not that cut and dry. So that's why we're doing the records request. We're going to analyze frame by frame each one of these videos to determine why the officer made that deadly decision to shoot and kill Ryan.
Ryan Hinton's grandfather, the father of Rodney Hinton, also spoke.
Money grab, trying to make some money off the death of their grandson. That's all it is. Off the death of their relative. They're trying to make some money off the death of their relative. But he was dead fucking wrong. He was dead fucking wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, just being real. And now you're trying to freeze frame it and find every little miscalculation that the officer may have did to where maybe you can get some money. You know, whatever. It's really some low down shit, man. Teachers, we gotta be proactive and not reactive. We gotta teach these young black boys to make better decisions, and these young black men to make better decisions. You know, he's 18 years old. He can go serve in the military, do something positive with his life. He out here riding around in stolen vehicles with fucking guns on him and shit. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, man. We so reactionary to want to get a lawyer and lawyer up and see if they can make a quick dime off the death of this black boy in some racially charged civil case or bullshit. Man, come on, man. Come on, dog. You're not about to move the goalpost for this black kid, dog. You know what I'm saying? We just got to make sure his death doesn't go in vain so we can educate the next generation, because too many generations is growing up acting like fucking weirdo bitches, dog. Raised like women, if you ask me. Raised like women. You know what I'm saying? And black folks celebrating the death of this man, y'all, bro, I'm telling you, man, it's y'all some dirty motherfuckers.
I'm gonna give a condolence out to the officers that got hurt, got killed, my whole family. I'm asking for forgiveness, and I've been praying hard for the officer that killed my grandson. I've been praying hard for him and his family, because I know he's hurting off this. As I seen in the video about my grandson, I seen two scared people. I seen the officer scared, and I seen my grandson scared. So it's an unfortunate incident that happened. So that's all I seen. It was like, I didn't see the police there try to kill. No. What I seen was two persons made a mistake. My grandson made a mistake being in, and the officer, he was trying to get back to his family too. So that's what I seen. So it's not about revenge or anything. I had nothing against nobody. you know, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and represent Him. So, with that said, please, everybody, just try to forgive everybody who done anything to anybody.
Rodney Hinton Jr. appeared in court over the weekend following his arrest on an aggravated murder charge. A wall of Larry Henderson's colleagues surrounded him. Hinton muttered something about being gone forever. Hinton was moved to a jail in a neighboring county. He was back in court asking for bail, and things got heated in the gallery when his brother attempted to contact him by knocking on the courtroom glass.
Have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat, sir. Sit down. That's not a problem.
My benigla bias.
Rodney Hinton was rushed out of the courtroom as his brother was escorted out of the gallery.
Yeah, man, that's plain old ignorance at its finest. Man, I'm telling you, if you get a chance, look at some of these comments out there, some of the people that's out there online commenting on the death of this officer and just this whole situation, man. Just like I said, celebration from the BLM. Shit, celebration from the BLM. I think it's a win. The fact that 2 black men threw their lives away and then they crashing out to kill this officer that had nothing to do with it, man. I'm telling you, we turn into, well, black folks are in America are turning into the devils for real, for real. I mean, we the main ones talking about we demons and all this shit in the rap videos and all the just deplorable content that they put out here, man, for our consumption. It's like, bro, black folks in America are really turning into the devils, man. I'm telling you. I mean, you love to want to talk about and point the finger at white folks, call them white devils, all this type of bullshit. But man, if you look at the actions of, just to look at the numbers and look at the actions that are out here that we do, you know what I'm saying, and the lack of accountability, man, that is going to be y'all, the fucking, what's the word? Your detriment. That is going to be to your detriment, man. That's going to be your downfall. Ultimately, it's trying to point the finger and not fixing your own closet. It's like you got a heart disease or something like that. Let's say you whatever, and then you trying to get better. You're trying to help yourself heal yourself, and you point at somebody else eating a cheeseburger or eating bad or eating shitty and causing their cells to also have ailments and stuff like that. It's like, man, you need to focus on your situation. You trying to point the finger at that to take off the blame of the fact that you still live a bad lifestyle. It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like you're not helping yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're making excuses and pointing at somebody else, but you're not fixing your bad behavior. So that's the reality of living like that, of always having, pointing the finger and trying to make excuses for actions.
Shortly thereafter, court resumed, with Hinton's lawyer asking for bail for him and entering a not guilty plea on Hinton.
Man, a bunch of female-raised weirdos, man. Niggas raised like females, dog. What did your fathers teach y'all? That's my mindset. I know I come from a father that was in law enforcement, but what did a lot of these black fathers teach y'all? To live emotionally all the goddamn time? Like, what did they teach y'all? How they taught y'all to control yourselves and your impulse control? What the hell are they teaching y'all in these households, man? Godly.
His behalf.
Judge, I'm going to waive probable cause as a result of being acquainted with the case. I'm waiving probable cause.
Thank you so much. And
is there a plea this morning?
There's a Plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Plea of not guilty. Yes. Will you enter a plea of not guilty? And thank you. And as to bond, the state has requested a hearing on the issue of bond or bail. You may be aware of that.
I am aware of that.
Who would like to proceed?
I'm proceeding, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, a detective testified about what happened that day.
Tell me what he did after he stopped.
So based on witness statements as well as the video, the vehicle accelerated quickly, proceeded eastbound, crossed into the oncoming lanes of traffic when there was no longer traffic to obstruct his travel. Crossed into the oncoming lanes of traffic, went to the left of those little stanchions that are in the middle of the roadway, into the oncoming lanes, through the intersection, directly at where Deputy Henderson was standing, struck Deputy Henderson and the metal utility pole on the northeast corner of the intersection.
Okay. Were there any evidence of skid marks?
No, there were no indications at any point that he tried to brake, stop.
And I can understand a man will probably lose his mind a little bit. Like I got kids myself. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely get the understanding of having kids and being a father in this world, man. It's a tough situation, man. Being a father in this world, man. You gotta have the heart of a lion. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no control. You know that. You know you have no control ultimately. You know your kids go out into this world, and you know you have to give it to God. But situations like this were very, very much so preventable. I hope somebody's out there hearing me and listening right now. Hit that like button for TNP, man. Go and subscribe to this podcast too. But man, situations like this, man, very, very, very much so preventable if you're just doing your proper job as a father. Very much so preventable. But this doesn't have to end up with situations like this happening. And just the fact that he is such a person that would do a heinous act like this randomly to someone who had nothing to do with your son's demise, it already tells me the type of non-accountable ass person that he is. He don't live his life with accountability, and he definitely can't process his own emotions without lashing out. So I just be wondering what type of father and what type of skills, just life skills, that you teach your son. You know, when he doesn't have the discernment to know, maybe I sent him right around in a stolen vehicle, and maybe he didn't know, but I doubt it. I doubt he didn't know that the vehicle was stolen. I know he knew he had guns in there. Like, come on, man. Like he ran out of the car with a gun, dropped it, failed, whatever the fuck. Like, why would you run around with a fucking loaded weapon on you? Because at any given time, that thing can be used as a projectile weapon to kill a cop. So it's split-second decisions being made right then. If he didn't see the weapon on you, he had no reason to pull his and fire. Period. So just the decision-making process isn't smart. These kids are almost slow. Why wouldn't you have it on your person? Why wouldn't you have it hidden? Why is it in your hand where it's readily accessible and able to be fired? Because that's a threat. That's an immediate threat. I don't even care if it's kind of pointed at somebody or not. It's a threat. It can be pointed at someone in a millisecond and fired. So it's a split-second reaction time these law enforcement officers have to have. They don't have time to be thinking and judging too much more, you know, at all. So. But like I said, man, this father just laughing, smiling, whatever he's doing right here in this video, just I don't know, whatever that little face he's making right there, biting his lip, you know, just trying to act tough, feel tough, whatever, you know, it's just to a real man, you know, this is real feminized energy. You know what I'm saying? This ain't tough guy energy. You drove a car into somebody and like you're protected by the white man's laws because, you know, back in the day, they could have strung you up, you know, put you on a horse and quartered your ass, you know what I'm saying? Hang you by a fucking whatever, like boil you in fucking water, do whatever the fuck they want to, castrate you, destroy you. But now you feel so emboldened, you feel so emboldened by the white man's laws, which they, you know, allow you, you know, lawyers and due process and all this type of mindset, you know what I'm saying? Which we all work for as black people, you know, we worked and fought for and died for these laws, but it's just funny the fact that you feel tough doing that, riding the car into a guy that they had nothing to do with the situation, and you don't think your son had any culpability in the fact that in which the way he died. Just the fact that you feel so emboldened and so entitled, and you think you tough. You know, this guy, look at this little ass guy, he thinks he's so fucking tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really funny. You know, he had to have blew a fuse mentally when his son died. That's the only excuse I can give to him. He had to have blown a fuse when his son died mentally and just lost it. And just said, you know, maybe he felt like dying himself. Who knows? But he had to have lost it. That's the only thing I can say. He couldn't be a man thinking rationally in no form or fashion. You know,
or otherwise avoid Deputy Henderson.
And is that the conclusion that our accident reconstructionists have come to at this point?
At this time, yes.
Okay. And does it appear from your review of the video that he headed straight for Deputy Henderson?
Yes.
And did any of the multiple witnesses that you spoke to and the people that were in the vehicles that were surrounding him, the people that were on scene, did anyone indicate that any attempt to slow down or deviate his path straight to Deputy Henderson?
No, everybody said that he accelerated and was traveling at a high rate of speed all the way up until the time that he struck Deputy Henderson.
Okay. And when he struck Deputy Henderson, was the deputy injured?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened after he struck Deputy Henderson?
Deputy Henderson was launched several feet through the air. He came to rest in a turn lane several feet from where the collision occurred.
Rodney Hinton's defense attorney then questioned the detective.
Judge, first of all, I would like to offer on behalf of the Hinton family and myself, prayers to the Hinton family, prayers to the family of Larry Henderson, the fallen deputy, and I thank the court for having a fair assembly in the courtroom today. With that, I'd like to ask you a few questions, not a lot. Okay? Yes, sir. You said that Mr. Hinton left the police station around 12:30. CIS.
He initially left around 10:30.
Came back and then left again.
And then returned a couple hours later, yes.
And you said that individuals that know Mr. Hinton, his family members, were saying that he appeared to be agitated, upset, and so forth, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you don't know the source of that agitation or that distraughtness, do you? If you know, you might not. I don't think you do, but you have to answer the question.
The source of the agitation?
Yes.
Well, I would assume it was because of I believe it was because of the video and the reason that he was at CIS.
Do you know the mental history of Mr. Hinton?
No, I do not know detailed mental history.
Right. Do you know whether or not he's had any medically documented infirmities or conditions? Do you know that? You don't, do you?
No, I do not.
After bond was denied, the sheriff gave a brief statement.
He was a 33-year career deputy for our department. He retired approximately 5 months ago, and he continued to serve under oath, and he was directing traffic that day at what would have been a very, very joyous occasion for the University of Cincinnati graduates. Unfortunately, you know what unfolded, and we have lost Larry. Larry has been a deputy who has been so extraordinary. We've retired his badge number. Badge number 129 will be retired. Larry touched so many lives in this organization because he was a trainer, because he worked in so many specialized units. And Larry was very animate about the fact that he stay on the front line. He did not wish to take exams to be promoted because Larry's service was on that front line. And I have to tell you, that is bravery extraordinaire. When deputies decide that they want to be out there facing every day to day, that's a sacrifice, and it's a sacrifice for his family, and they have made the ultimate sacrifice.
I want to bring in Ken Kober. He is the president of the Fraternal Order of Police in Cincinnati, Ohio. So Ken, this is a shocking turn of events. We have a young man who was in an officer-involved shooting. He was killed by a Cincinnati police officer on a Thursday, and then the next day, police say that his father, and it sounds like intentionally, mows down a Hamilton County sheriff's deputy who's directing traffic at a college graduation. So it's a pretty shocking turn of events.
Yeah, it's been a terrible. Thursday was a tragedy. Then an officer had to defend his own life. And then on Friday, to have a sheriff's deputy murdered simply directing traffic for a graduation it's unthinkable.
I know you put out a pretty strong statement after Larry Henderson passed away from being hit by this vehicle, and you were calling for the prosecutor to pursue the death penalty in this case. So it sounds like you believe that this was no accident. You believe that this was intentional. Tell me what you know about this that leads you to believe that.
Absolutely. Our traffic unit and our homicide unit work together.
People out here trying to put money on that dude's books, man. They out here happy that he killed the officer. If you go online and look at some of these comments and some of these comment sections on things pertaining to this incident, people really out here trying to do the Carmelo Anthony support system type deal, circling the wagon on that. But man, that's like I said, hey, y'all do y'all, man. Y'all do y'all, man. Hey, man, it's some wild situation though. Y'all do y'all. Y'all do y'all, man. That's what make y'all feel better. Rejoicing when the white man loses his life. Hey, I'm just not that sad of an individual, man. My life's too good to be out here celebrating the death of others. Like mentally, I'm too happy. You know what I'm saying? I'm too blessed. Like I have an actual relationship with the Most High, with the Lord. I walk with Christ. So, man, I'm too powerful spiritually to be happy for the death of anyone. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up, that's just me. That's like loser shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're at the bottom of the barrel when you're happy like that for the death of someone. Like you just know that your life is horrible. How you feel about yourself is nothing. Like you are nothing. If you're excited for the death of a person, you're nothing.
And through the course of their investigation, they determined that this absolutely was an intentional act. And yes, I am absolutely standing with, I think, every other law enforcement officer in this county that expects the prosecutor to pursue the death penalty in this case.
The lawyer for Ryan Hinton's estate, for the son, said that the father, Rodney Hinton, had been in a meeting with Cincinnati police. And for people who maybe aren't aware of this, there's a long-standing collaborative agreement in the city of Cincinnati where, there was a history many, many moons ago, years ago, of some police-involved shootings involving young African-American men. The federal government came in. There's this agreement where now Cincinnati police, within 24 hours, if there's an officer-involved shooting, they say, this is what we know. They try to be very open with the public and present what they can about the investigation. And before that happened, apparently, they were having a meeting with the family of Ryan Hinton and showing them this body camera footage of what happened. And the family of Ryan Hinton, or the lawyers for Ryan Hinton, said the father left that meeting very angry. And apparently after this meeting is when Mr. Henderson, the deputy, Larry Henderson, was run down by Rodney Hinton. So do you know anything more about what may have happened in that meeting or any of the details about that?
The police department does a fantastic job being transparent and getting this information out as soon as they can when a critical incident occurs. And that also includes meeting with the family. To the chief, it goes over with them, if there's body camera footage of what occurred, how things occurred. And while I understand that, the father was upset, that's absolutely no excuse to go and murder a police officer who had nothing to do with this, to murder anybody. Like I said, I understand emotions were running high. My understanding that there was some.
These are facts. These are straight up facts, man. It doesn't give you the authorization to go hurt someone, man. You're not validated in going to hurt a random officer because the system caused your son to lose his life due to the actions of his own.
Kind of confrontation that occurred there. I wasn't there for it. And then apparently at some point he stormed off. And then, of course, that led to just more tragic events.
Mm-hmm. What can you tell us about the investigation? What has been revealed through that traffic investigation? You said the traffic unit. What's come of that? I mean, were there some statements made by Rodney Hinton where did he say something about, I did this on purpose, or, an eye for an eye? I mean, what happened?
I'm not going to get into too much of the investigation and what they have, evidence they have, but I could tell you all the evidence pointed towards this absolutely was an intentional act, and then that was, in my opinion, only further proven when at his arraignment Saturday morning, showing absolutely zero remorse whatever for what happened.
Tell me, Ken, if you would, how much of an impact, how difficult has this been for the law enforcement community there in Cincinnati, Ohio, having a deputy? I mean, this was a retired deputy working a traffic detail at a college graduation. And he retired in December, is my understanding. So this is an off-duty detail that he's working, and he's just working the traffic, thing, and he's run down. I mean, what has this been like for the police officers there in the Cincinnati area?
Quite honestly, it's terrible. It's infuriating. It's sad. That a deputy who's there directing traffic, running a light for an occasion which should be a fantastic occasion. You got a bunch of University of Cincinnati students that are graduating. Should be a time to celebrate. Instead, it's nothing but a time of tragedy. From the first officer that responded, that had to try to administer CPR, to the deputies that all are on scene, to our traffic unit or homicide unit, everybody that's been involved with this. It's just an absolute, just seeing the evil that society has is something that has been very hard to deal with. And of course we had to.
That's all I want to reiterate as well, man. It's good versus evil out here. You got to understand that, man. And without having accountability in a proper level of discernment, man, you are really out here a crash out on all levels. You are a victim mentality having crash out who is a liability on society and a black stain on society in a lot of ways.
The flying pig this weekend, officers had to go right back to putting a uniform on as they're trying to process what occurred, to go in and protect the public, because that's what we're sworn to do. It's something that it's certainly going to be very, very difficult to get us through this process.
Mm-hmm. And it's my understanding, too, that Larry Henderson, I mean, this is somebody who had a wife. And I was reading last night, too, that I believe he was fostering some very young children.
Yeah, I mean, just an absolute fantastic person. Had a fantastic career in the sheriff's department, and then retired and decided that still wanted to be involved. So he became a special deputy that, their primary function is to, work off-duty details where, on-duty people aren't available. Just to make some extra money in retirement, to be able to take care of his family further, the kids that he has. And it's just something that is absolutely senseless that never should have happened.
Do you expect that the prosecutor, I know you can't speak for the prosecutor, but do you expect that they will? I mean, do you believe that Connie Pillich, the newly elected Hamilton County prosecutor, will seek the death penalty in this case?
Well, the statement that she's made already is that she is going to throw the full force of the law to this defendant. And under the full force of the law would mean that she's going to pursue the death penalty. She certainly hasn't made any statements saying that yet, but that is something that myself and every other police officer in this tri-state area expect that is going to happen.
Ken, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think it is important to note that through this tragedy, though, the outpouring of support from the community, as you saw, officers working the Flying Pig, the Reds were in town this weekend, has been incredible. I know there's been a lot of keyboard warriors that have had threats towards the police and things like that on social media. But, when you see people face to face, the good people in this community, elected leaders that have reached out to give condolences is something that, at least there's been at least something good that has come out of this. But we fully expect that he will be prosecuted. And like I said, I will be doing everything in my power to make sure that the death penalty is pursued.
And I know that you had told me before we start.
Hit that like button if you're out there watching this TNP, man. Like, share, subscribe, man. Comment. Give me your opinion on this. Do you think he deserves the death penalty, man? Maybe I should make that a poll question. Do you think he deserves the death penalty? Do you think what's his name? Rodney? Whatever. Do you think he deserves a death penalty? Rodney Hinton Jr. Man, it's sad. It is a sad situation, man. Like me, I just keep it 100 because, like I said, I concern myself with my community and the things that are going on amongst my own community. You know, fatherlessness, lacking of accountability, matriarchy, being led and raised by a bunch of single mamas a lot of times, generations of this. Just the repercussions, man, the type of man that's created from this combination of destruction, honestly, and chaos.
That you knew Larry Henderson just a little bit. You know, you didn't know him well, but you did know him a little bit.
You know, just see him in passing. You know, I mean, it's kind of hard when you work in Cincinnati, especially when we work with the sheriff's department and somebody that was involved in as many things as he was. It's kind of hard not to cross paths with a lot of the sheriff's department. They're a fantastic group of guys, and you know, as I was talking to some deputies last night that knew him very, very well, that were really good friends with him. I mean, just the stories that they're telling, it just speaks volumes of the character of him and how well loved he was and how much he's really going to be missed.
And it's just a tragedy. It's just awful. Well, Ken Kober, thank you so much. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Someone had started a GoFundMe to raise money for Rodney Hinton's defense. That GoFundMe has been taken down, and GoFundMe has actually issued an apology to the Fraternal Order of Police over that fundraiser. And that's it for this episode of Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll see you back here next time.
Yeah, man, trying to tell you, man, people out here really circling the wagon and getting behind this guy and trying to make him some type of martyr or some type of like kind of trying to just making him seem like he's not kind of the victim of white supremacy. You know, if you really look at, I'm telling you, man, you go look at some of these comments, look at some of these keyboard warriors that cop said. A lot of folks, especially in our hurt ass black community, man. And now, like I said, I got to call us to task because I got to call a spade a spade. I'm on the truthful. I'm on the side of truth, you know, honesty, justice, you know, being righteous. And man, I got to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a sickening mindset in a sick ass community that can really get behind some shit like this and try to say white supremacy, like, and not want to be accountable for
Here today, a homicide detective shared a new detailed timeline of Rodney Hinton Jr.'s alleged actions before crashing into Deputy Henderson.
And not want to be honest about, you know, the actions that preluded this guy as a young man getting shot. You know, you can't ride around in stolen vehicles. You can't run around with guns, loaded guns on you with extended clips on them and ready to fire. You can't do that shit, bro. Like what channel? That's why TNP is so important, man. Like, share, subscribe, hit that like button. That's why TNP is it's so needed. You know what I'm saying? It's so successful and so important and imperative that my voices like mine are heard loud and clear. A black man is able to elocute and tell the truth and be honest in it and say, you know, what he feels like is the right way in which to conduct yourself in this society. You know? As opposed to being that person who feels like, basically, due to the past turmoil and things that black folks went through systemically, that we should get a pass. We should be babies. You know, we should be babied by society. We should get we should have a special class or a special, I guess, treatment that's different from the populace or from the whole. And that's not true. You cannot do that, bro. You're making a generation of babies, grown ass men babies, man. When you have this mindset like that, when you're allowing these people to make excuses and allowing the communities to make excuses for terrible, terrible actions and just, like I said, there's all type of debauchery and chaos and degeneracy, and you're allowing it to do, honestly. Being straight up.
WCPO 9 News reporter Jay Shakur walks us through it.
Here's what we know right now about Rodney Hinton Jr.'s movements on Friday. A Cincinnati police detective said on May 2nd, shortly after 9:30 that morning, Rodney Hinton Jr., along with family, viewed body camera footage of a Cincinnati police officer shooting and killing his 18-year-old son, Ryan Hinton, the day before. Police say officers found Ryan and 3 other young men in a stolen Kia. When police arrived, the 4 men ran. Police ran after them, and officers say Ryan had a gun, and it was pointed toward an officer who shot him twice, killing him. The footage, which is a bit blurry at times, shows the shooting and Ryan falling to the ground. Police then say after reviewing that body cam video shortly after 10:30 a.m., Rodney leaves Cincinnati Police's Criminal Investigation Sections Unit's parking lot. Police say he left this first time upset and unable to drive. Family members describe him as agitated. Witnesses tell police he went to a couple of different locations, then returned to the parking lot around 12:40 p.m. They say Hinton came back to pick up a car left behind, and then for a second time,
He actually left the parking lot, followed by some family members, and then a few minutes later returned to the parking lot at CIS, drove through the parking lot, and then left the parking lot again.
Now, authorities say that final...
Oh, that man was looking for a cop to kill by that point. Yeah, he was looking for somebody to get right there to hit with his vehicle right there. He's ready to get retribution right there as soon as he seen that video. But he probably didn't have opportunity. That's facts. He's circling around here. That's what he was definitely trying to do. He was looking for a victim in which to get some get back right then and there. Damn. Like, I can understand. Like I said, the emotions are running definitely high. You know, you lost your son. I can only imagine, man. Like, Lord have mercy. You know what I'm saying? But don't live for 18 years for him to be killed in a crash out dumbass situation like that, man. Just feel like a waste, I'm sure. Probably made it, like I said, his mind had to snap. Like, but it's not giving it excuses at all. I'm not giving him any type of excuses for his actions, because you don't. It's like the person who's drowning, so they want to drown you with them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you don't. I will never be on the side of negativity and shit like that. This is me in displacing the energy and anger. I'll never support that shit. I'll never try to just never. I can't even flip it and twist it in no type of disfigured way to make that sound good. He's wrong. Period. So there's no excuses in that.
Accident occurred at 12:49 p.m. Just 11 minutes later, police say Hinton plowed right into Henderson, who was operating a traffic light at the intersection of and Burnett. Video footage shows Hinton first stopping in a left turn, increasing the car's speed.
The vehicle accelerated quickly at where Deputy Henderson was standing.
Cincinnati police have not yet identified that officer who shot and killed Hinton's son. Prosecutors say they believe that Rodney Hinton Jr. just, quote, ran over the first officer he saw. Jay Shakur, WCPO 9 News.
Fox 19 now.
We continue to bring you the latest after a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy was killed Friday. The man accused of intentionally hitting Deputy Larry Henderson, his name is Rodney Hinton, made his first court appearance over the weekend.
Now, Hinton is the father of 18-year-old Ryan Hinton, who was shot and killed by police.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm tired of the racially charged stories in America, man. It's just getting old. The racially charged stories of America is getting old.
During a stolen vehicle investigation on Thursday.
Today, Ryan's family.
At this point, we might as well just stay away from each other. Let me get up out of here. My kid's coming back.